1,218 days. That is how long it had been since I set my PR 3x3 single when I was getting ready for 3x3 round 1 at a comp I went to in May. I started off that round with an 885 because I suck at last layer recognition, and then followed that up with an 11 because I suck. But following those two, something really crazy happened. Out of the next 4 solves, including the first one from the next round of 3x3 after that, 3 of them were PR 3x3 singles. No new PR singles for almost 3.5 years, and then 3 in 4 solves. It's absolutely ridiculous. And in this video, I'm going to show you how I did it. This scramble starts off with a really nice white cross, and that is because of these 2 edges, which are already both on their opposite colors. That means that just doing a D2 will have half of my cross solved already. Other than that, I've got this blue edge, and then this red edge, and that finishes off my cross. If I just wanted to solve this in as few moves as possible, I could move over blue like this to get it ready to solve on opposites, and then combine that with solving this like that. But there is one slight problem with doing that, and that is that it creates this block, and the edge that goes with it will end up here but flipped, which means either I have to do an edge flip algorithm in order to flip this, or just do the D2 and accept that I'm going to have this. And I would rather not do that and instead use this to make an easier X cross. So what I did instead of that is start off the same way by solving just blue, like that, and instead of doing something that'll move my edge like that, just leave it there, and I'm leaving red right here. So when I do D to move it over, I can insert red into the back like this, and when I do that, it will insert the edge, and then one more D, and I've got my X cross. That gets me to this position, and there are a couple decent options for F2L, but the one I saw first was this edge and this corner right here. Now, the way that I would solve this, and the way I did solve it, was doing a U, and then I've got the lefty version of a very common F2L case, so I just do lefty sledge, insert the pair. Next, I think I saw this pair, even though it's not what I ended up doing, but I know that I have to cube rotate for this, at least to solve it in an ergonomic way. So I cube rotate, and then I see this pair, which is much better because I can just do a U prime and then connect and solve it like that. And that leaves me with a much easier last pair that I looked ahead right into like that. Now from here, I've got a very nice OLO case. This is just F double sexy move F prime. And because I've got matching colors right here and opposite colors right here, I knew that I was going to get some sort of edge only PLL here. I knew it wasn't going to skip, but I knew it was either going to be a U perm, an H perm, or a Z perm. So I do my OLL, and it turns out it was a counterclockwise U perm already set up in the front. And I just did that, and it gave me a 618. So that solution was 53 moves, and by doing that in 6.18 seconds, that gives me an average of 8.57 turns per second. Getting that solve was a huge relief. I had finally gotten a new PR single after over 3 years, and I had actually gotten something out of this awful average. But the solve itself was nothing too special, just a pretty decent start, pretty easy F2L, and a really nice last layer. It absolutely pales in comparison to what was going to come up 2 solves later. This scramble is a whole nother level of easy on yellow, and that is because I have this block already solved and that edge already in place, which means that I am 1 move away from having this entire block, which starts the easiest X cross of my life on yellow. So the other 2 edges are right here and right here, which means that I'm going to start from this angle, and my cross is going to be some version of D and then solve these two edges. So I start with that D, and then I need to figure out what I'm going to do from here, and I was planning this all in inspection. Something I didn't notice is that if I inserted this edge from here, I would create a pair here like that I could preserve. I did not notice that, but it all worked out for me in the end. What I did notice is that if I solve this first, and then this, I will have a really easy pair with blue and orange right here. So that's what I ended up doing. I solved my cross finishing off like that, and I went immediately into this pair, which means that I predicted my cross and half of my F2L during inspection. Then I get to this point, and this is another easy situation. I do need to cube rotate, but then from here, I do not need to cube rotate anymore to finish my F2L or my solve. So here I've got an easy F2L pair to start, and that lets me go immediately into this, like that. What an easy F2L. Into this really nice OLL. And guess what? I'm already lined up for my U-perm in the back. And boom, that gives me a 602. It's going to be a long time before I get anything that lucky on an official scramble ever again. I'm not going to say that I blew that solve, but I don't think I took it to my full potential. I feel like with a solution that short and easy, I should have been able to get at least like a 5.7, if not better, but I'm not going to throw away a 602 any day. That gave me a counting 618 in that average, and even though it also had a counting 885, it gave me what was then still a PR 3x3 average of 735. I posted that crazy scorecard on Facebook, and Jay McNeil left a comment saying to roll the average. So I did. Unlike the other two scrambles that I just showed you, this one doesn't have anything super obviously great right off the bat. But I decided to do white cross, and my edges for that are right here, here, and here and here. Once again, I've got this sort of situation where I could do that, but it leaves me with a flipped pair. So I'm going to try and avoid doing that. And so I'm actually going to solve this green edge last instead of first. So I can solve this edge and these two in 4 moves by moving this one over with U prime, solving these two, and then that moves this down here, and I can do F. And when I do that, that is going to move this corner over here and then up. And so white will be facing right here. This edge will move to right here. In other words, I've got a free pair. So I'm going to do that. And then I knew that in order to solve this, I need to do something like that. But I'm going to use that to connect this pair as well. And this is all what I planned out in my inspection. And from there, I went straight into this. But what I can't explain is how I had so much awareness of the cube from right here. So I understand how I could look ahead pretty well into this next pair. So I insert and then solve that. But from there, it was a pretty immediate D2 to do keyhole here. I don't know how I knew that this edge was solved, but I did my D2, insert D2, and now I'm on my last pair, and I notice I've got none of my edges oriented. So I go into this pair, but instead of just inserting it, I do the algorithm, the infamous algorithm. I made a video that got really popular about it. And then I get to OLL right here. And it's a really good thing that I got this from this angle because it let me see this entire solved block. And then I see what my CP case is here. And guess what? I know that this is going to skip, and because this aligned the block, it's going to skip without AUF when I do my COLL here. And so that gave me a complete skip. I can just stop the timer there, and it was a 592, and it was absolutely incredible. It wasn't exactly the most skillful solve I've ever done. It was a good mix of luck and skill. A 48 move solution, and doing that in 5.92 seconds gives me an average of 8.10 turns per second. And that is how I got my first official sub 6. It was long overdue, but it feels incredible to have. And because I did roll it like Jay told me to, that meant that in this rolling average, I now have the counting 618, a counting 602, the 11 was the worst solve, The 5 was the best solve, and to round out the counting times, I have the 703 that I got in between the two 6s. That gives me a rolling official average of 6.41. Absolutely incredible. So that's the story of how I got 3 PR singles in 4 solves. And that's something that's almost definitely never going to happen to me again, so I'm very glad I got to share this moment with you through this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please subscribe for more awesome videos that I'm going to make. I'll see you guys later, and I hope you have a great day. This is Brody, signing out.